Hey guys, Al2 here, 316RC, and back today, part 3 MTXL Resurrection build. I'm going to swing you down here and show you where I'm at so far. Just a quick update. Alright guys, excuse the messy workbench, but it's been one thing after another working on this truck. So let me swing you down here and show you where we're at. Here's the beautiful chassis. Got the rear diff and shock tower all mounted up. Swinging forward. We got the drive shaft bearing mount here. I'm not sure what the real name of that is. We got the center diff mount, which I ran into a problem with that. And here's the front end coming along very nicely. And I ran into a problem with that, so it's kind of slowed me way down. Not sure exactly how I'm going to resolve some of these problems, so let me switch gears here and let's talk about some of these problems and what's going on with the build. I'm going to swing you down here and show you what I ran into on this front differential mounting. You can see right here it sits nice and flush on the chassis. This edge right here. The problem is that I ran into is with these hinge pin braces. You know, one goes in the front and mounts to the case, and one goes here. There's a problem with the angle. You can see I have it sitting there, but I'm going to bolt it up to the differential mounts here and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, you can see now I have, and these aren't the right screws, I just put these in temporarily. I got the hinge pin brace mounted on the back, and it mounts with these two screws onto the differential case mounts. You can see what it does. It's such an angle that it, I don't know, can you see this little gap here? Let me grab a small screwdriver. I don't know if you can see that little gap or not, but look at that. I can put the blade of my screwdriver under there. That was sitting flush on the chassis before. So I don't know. Obviously, if something is not right with the RC Max chassis, that's what I believe the problem is. This angle here is off slightly. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take this. Let's see here. I'm going to have to take this. I'm going to have to try to file this edge down to see if I can get this to fit so that this case comes back flush with the chassis. I think that's more important than this mount sitting flush on the chassis itself, because the weight's really supported by the brace. So here's what I came up with. I'll show you what I did. Here's one that I ground down. You can see I used a file, filed it down, and filed an angle on it. So I'm going to mount this one up, and we'll see what it looks like now. Alright, what I did is I took the stock plastic and mounted that up, as you can see, and that doesn't have the problem. That fits nice and flush, even with the hinge pin brace on the back. So what that tells me, the problem's really not the RC Max chassis. The problem is these FID mounts. Something is slightly off on those, so I'm going to have to get that. I want that to fit flush, so I'm going to go ahead with this ground down hinge pin. I'm going to mount that up now and see if that solves the problem. Alright, there's my modified hinge pin brace, and you can see now the gap is much, much better. In fact, when I bolt this down, it should just draw that in tight. I think that's going to be good enough. I really don't want to take any more off of this piece. So yeah, something is obviously just not right. Slightly off on that piece, and it caused that was about a 1/16 of an inch of gap in there. So now it's probably a 1/64. I think that'll probably draw tight when I bolt that down. So it's always something. You never know what you're going to run into with this stuff. So I think that's going to be all right. That's what we're going to go with, and we'll see how that works out. All right, ran into another problem here on the MTXL build, and no, I am not using a diff locker. I just have this mounted up temporarily. This is a brand new 61 tooth spur gear. I had this mounted up on my differential cup and had a problem with it. It wasn't running true. It was wobbling. So first I thought, well, maybe it's bad bearings. I mean, I had brand new bearings on it. I ripped it apart, changed the bearings, put it back on. It had a wobble. So just to make sure it wasn't something else, I decided just to mount it up quick to this locker, and I'm going to spin it here. You guys, I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that has about 1/8 of an inch wobble. It's just not running true. I'm not sure if it's showing up on camera or not, but yeah, definitely no good. I had a 57 tooth spur gear here that I had. I mounted this up on the differential temporarily and put it in here. There's no way you're running a 57 spur gear in here with unless you're running big bore motor or something like that. But it was completely true. So it's going to be a delay. Going to get a hold of, got it from DDM. I'm sure they'll take care of it, but till I get another spur gear, I'm kind of stuck with the snafu here on the center diff mount. Well, I just ran into another problem with the steering. Actually, it's the steering turnbuckles, these upgraded turnbuckles from Gap Racing. I don't know if you can see it right here. They hit. I don't have the one mounted on the other side, but you can see it hits the FID Racing differential mount right here. It's because these ball ends are really wide. Here's the stock one. And I can already tell that if that was mounted up there, it's not near as wide and it would just clear. So I got two options. I can either put the stock one on, which I don't want to do, or I'll have to take my Dremel tool out and grind this down so the Gap Racing steering turnbuckles will clear. Not sure what I'm going to do yet. Alright guys, stay tuned. Got a lot of problems here to solve. And I'll be back with the next update, and we'll see how everything worked out. Alright guys, Al2 here, 316. See you on the next video. So long.